what got you into, like, did you get caught doing something? Like, what happened?
Possession of narcotics, meth in particular. A very, very minuscule amount of meth. But
like a baggie with residue.
Tiny little baggie, like a little baggie that you put, like, a little button in. You know what I mean? Like, it's called
like
a bindle.
Like that comes with, like, a suit?
Yeah, exactly. That's all it was. Little residue, little bindle bag, and they found it in my ashtray. And the funny part about it was I swallowed an 8-ball of meth. So I had, 3.5 grams of meth in a Ziploc bag, and I swallowed it and was chewing it up when I was talking to the cop, thinking like, well, at least you're not going to find it. I might die in the process, but I'm not going to. Anyway, and then they end up, I go to the ICU and overdosing on meth, which is, next to near impossible. And then they end up finding a little bindle in my car. Jesus. So, yeah, it's a great experience.
Yikes.
It seriously saved your life in the weirdest sort of way.
Exactly.
Yeah. I was going to say, I mean, you look great now. Like, you look like you've got all your teeth. Like, there's not the telltale signs of meth use.
It took, you'd be surprised, like how you get back everything that you lost. Well, not all the time. You got to pay for your teeth to get them back sometimes.
Right. That's fair.
Yeah. I still got to pay for that shit, man.
Yeah, it's quite the experience.
All right, so we went through the backstory. What are you up to these days? What are you doing?
Personal growth, right? What am I doing?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, first and foremost, obviously, I'm in a 12-step recovery program. So that's the forefront of my life.
Okay, so that's ongoing.
That's consistent. That's like maintenance for my sobriety. Like if I didn't have it, I'd probably go out and get loaded again. Okay. Like there's no, like, as they say in like certain meetings, amount of self-help books or people or a girl or a job that can keep you from the obsession of drugs and alcohol. Like, I love getting high and getting drunk. So that's in the forefront, and obviously I exercise, for the for physical growth, and I like to read, expanding the mind, just any way, shape or form. I like to practice stoicism. I don't know if it's stoicism or stoicism, but basically it's just the practice of just maintaining and like what's in your control and keeping a calm and composed demeanor. It's philosophers like back in
it's similar to like a like Taoism or Buddhism.
Yeah, it's its own practice.
Thing.
Yeah, in a way. So that's helpful.
He's a stoic.
I like to consider. I still.
You're so calm and collected, man.
I try.
I don't think I've seen you mad in a long time.
It happens, but I usually try to keep it behind closed doors. That's for sure.
That's fair. That's fair.
But
I mean, nobody can be. I mean,
all the time.
You can't keep it up all the time. Like, no, it's damn near impossible.
Yeah, exactly. I just don't like to. I like to kind of keep my composure, and if I flip out, I like to have it where nobody could see me.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. No, absolutely.
Yeah. So
that makes a lot of sense.
Mm-hmm.
What's the most recent book you've read?
Obstacle is the Way.
Obstacle
is the Way.
Is the Way.
Yeah. I don't know the author's name, but it's just it's great, man. Just shares fearless stories about certain leaders who practice stoicism throughout the lifetime. Like certain Roman emperors and Abraham Lincoln, Winston Churchill, Obama, Bush, like just a lot of people actually practice.
Did you say the Bush?
By Ryan Holiday.
Yeah.
The Obstacle is the Way.
Yeah,
Ryan Holiday.
It's a great book,
Ryan?
Man.
Ryan Holiday.
Ryan Holiday.
Yeah.
Okay. I'll have to add that to
there's a lot of self-help books out there but there's certain books that just really make you kind of think, what I mean?
Yeah,
make you look at things a little bit differently.
Definitely. George Carlin thought that self-help books were unnecessary. Like his bit was, what's self-help?
Yeah.
If you did it yourself, you didn't need help. Which
that's a good point.
Was fantastic.
That's a good point. Yeah,
I think fuck that guy.
Whoa.
Just kidding. I didn't mean it. I know he's your
let's calm down.
He's Buddha to
let's
comics, I guess.
I would figure, yeah.
Well, some,
Makes
not
sense.
all, but most, I would imagine.
No, I don't. I don't really mean fuck that guy, but I do disagree, because so let's just say Michael Jordan.
Right.
I think, is it fair to say that he's one of, if not the best basketball player ever?
I'd say so.
Yeah.
So even Michael Jordan says that he needs a coach or a mentor.
Right.
Right.
But that's not self-help. That's
Well,
help.
but that so
a coach is help.
So taking self-help, the term itself, it's about like you putting in the effort to gaining some momentum.
Right.
So the term self-help books might not be appropriate. It could be a different term that George Carlin would have preferred. But
Probably.
the idea is like you have to do it.
Yeah.
Like no one's going to hold your hand and do it for you.
That's true.
Like taking in information from other people that have done things that you're wanting to do is really important. Like, I mean, what's your pull to stoicism?
I don't know. Like, actually, bringing up drug court. Okay, Marcus Aurelius, right? He was one of the greatest Roman emperors of all times.
Uh-huh.
You know, just known for his integrity.
Right.
You know, and so I came across a book in recovery during drug court. You know, and it was called the Emperor's Handbook. You know, it was basically a written meditations of everything that Marcus Aurelius had written like way back in the day. You know, and somebody had found these meditations and put it on paper. You know, in a book form.
Right.
And so I was reading this like on my way from the halfway house on the bus to drug court every day, you know? So it was just kind of like this profound reading, you know, way of life, you know, just this knowledge that I was gaining in my recovery, you know, like, oh, I kind of want to live like this. This is kind of want to, first and foremost for me is a higher power,
right.
You know, but then coming in a close second is this practice of stoicism. It's just important to me. You know, because I admire, you know, Marcus Aurelius, you know, just for this fearless leadership, you know, and like I said, just he was a good man. He was respected. So I try to model that in my life, I guess, if you will.
Right.
I don't know if that answers the question or not.
No, I think that answers at least the question that I was thinking of.
Yeah.
So you had just said something about like higher power being first and foremost, and then the philosophy of being a Stoic comes second. Mm-hmm. Like, how would you feel about talking about like your higher power, the relationship
Ask
that you
me
have
anything.
there? Well,
I'm transparent, man.
Let's hear about that. Like, what made you decide, or what happened that made you try to develop that relationship?
I mean, for me, it was the 12-step program. Mm-hmm. You know, work in steps, 12 steps.
Yeah.
And like my goal wasn't like I just was in like we'll use, you know, it's not a program based of promotion but attraction, so I just want to throw that out there. AA, Alcoholics Anonymous, for example. You know, I was forced to do it.
Right.
Like I was just like, okay, cool, I'll do it. You know, and I was going in there and I'd hear people's stories and I was just like, why are people sharing all these stories about God and higher power and this and that? And I was like, I just want to quit fucking getting high. Yeah. I like to get high, but I want to quit because it's ruining my life.
Right.
And so, you know, I just did what I was told and got a sponsor and this and that. And I just did what I was told. And it wasn't something that I was looking for. Mm. It was something, you know, I followed a direction that I didn't believe in and I got results that I couldn't deny. So it was like I just did what I was told. Yeah. And in the process, you know, I had like an awakening, if you will. Yeah, I'm not trying to like, it's not bullshit like I did.
Yeah.
Like I am forever different because of it. Like I have everything back in my life that I lost, you know, including everything external and internal and this and that, you know, but like the biggest profound experience that I had is finding a connection with something that I didn't have before, you know, and that is like the biggest blessing that I have in my life today. So I have to do things, you know, to cultivate that, you know, and seek it, you know, prayer, meditation, you know, anything to keep me connected to that. A big thing is service to others. You know, it's being like tonight, you know, like I've always seen this show, you know, on like Instagram, you guys talking about it. Like, and I was just like, oh, cool. You know, like that'd be cool to kind of be on that. And so as soon as you asked me today or yesterday or whenever it was, I was like, that was an opportunity for me to be of service. You know, it's not the most convenient to drive on the other side of town after a long day of work when I have to go to the gym and I'm hungry still. But I think that doing this is important. You know, whether I want to do it or not. I want to do it, but you know, like that's.
Well, thank you for being with us.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, that's long story short, and that's what's up.
Yeah, and I definitely appreciate your willingness to come in, and and chat with us.
Yeah.
I always like it when I don't have to just talk to Dwayne. So that's
so entertaining too, though.
That's fair.
I do prefer having guests too, so I don't have to look at him the whole time because he's nothing pretty to look at.
Oh,
nope.
Gentlemen.
Just kidding. You're gorgeous.
Arm wrestle.
Right back at you, buddy.
Yeah.
No, I'm good.
No arm wrestle. Okay.
Nah, I know what I'm about.
Fair.
I'm not walking down that road.
Yeah, you'd lose.
Absolutely.
Coming back a little bit to higher power stuff, something that like forever that I've had an issue with is like in the book of 12-step knowledge, right? It talks about like when people talk about God and how they bristle with antagonism. Mm-hmm. Like every time I hear people talk about God or higher power, like my mind does this thing where it's like I've attached whatever they're saying to the definition that had been impressed upon me as a young child into adulthood, right?
Right.
And like it doesn't feel good.
Mm-hmm.
What I've tried to do over the last few years is to, like, for a lack of a better term, disassociate everything that I've learned about what God might be growing up until now, and like replace that thought process with the relationship that I've developed with whatever that might be right now. Mm-hmm. And it's definitely evolved and changed and transitioned and meant different things at different times, and I don't know. I like the idea of you talking about stoicism. I don't know why that's such a hard word to say, but that
I don't know.
I like it because it really feels to me as if it aligns with like the Eastern / Buddhist, Hindu perspective and worldview that I really vibe with. Eric's probably going to make fun of me a little bit about this, but a guy, Alan Watts, that I listen to a lot.
I love Alan Watts.
He's a fucking genius. He talks...
He's a philosopher.
Yeah. He talks about the Christian, Judeo-Islamic version of God versus the Hindu-Buddhist image of God. And if you were to ask that image of God, the Christian, Western, Judeo image of God, how did you create the human organism? He would go into great detail about how he did it. And like you'd be like, oh, cool, thanks for telling me. And then if you were to ask the Hindu, Buddhist image of God, he would say something to the effect of, well, I could tell you how I did it, but it would take me all of eternity to be able to tell you how I did it, because I'd have to explain it to you in words, and words are clumsy, and they lull in a line, and then lines become books, and books becomes libraries, and lucky for me, I don't have to understand things in words to make them happen, and neither do you. You don't have to understand in words how you make your eyes blue or brown, or make your hair grow, or your bones strong, or whatever. You just do it without having to understand it in words. And whenever he said that, like, I was like, if any religious person ever had used that way to describe God to me, I'm sure I would have had a better relationship with that from a very, like, much younger age, and not have been so rebellious towards.
Why would I make fun of you for that?
I think it was the Alan Watts piece.
You like to talk shit about my appreciation for Alan Watts.
I hear he's going deaf, so now they're starting to call him Alan what? I'm sorry.
I was like, is this true?
Alan Watts is no longer with us physically.
Oh, well,
I was like, didn't he just die?
I didn't know that.
I don't even know if it was just, but he's dead for sure.
So he's Alan when?
Alan was.
Alan was.
There it is.
Yeah.
Nice.
Well played, sir.
Yeah.
Alan was. Anyway, sorry. Go ahead.
The whole point of me telling that story about Alan Watts is, like, I don't have to define it or put in a little box anymore when it comes to a higher power. And I felt like forever I had to. And so it's so freeing to not feel the need to put it in a box. Mm-hmm. And I wrote something a long time ago about like looking at one of those ink blot tests and like